The Nets have embraced a switching scheme on defense this year, which really leverages the length of Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, and their shot-blocking machine Nic Claxton. Claxton's in his 4th year, and his 7'3" wingspan and super quick leaping have made him a real presence in the paint for Brooklyn, and the quickness of his vertical jump really stands out to me. He's one of these players who can take the elevator instantly to the top of the square. Look at his jumping technique. There's a small arm pump as he hinges his hips a little, and a little knee bend launches him off both feet. According to Second Spectrum, in the last 2 seasons, opponents are shooting 12% worse than expected against Claxton within 6 feet of the hoop. That's 6th best in the entire league. And because he gets off the floor so quickly, he doesn't need to be super early on his rotations. He takes off as this shot is being released and nearly catches it out of the air. Here's another one against Indiana, where he probably doesn't need to take a big step toward the corner, realizes it's his help, and he's quick enough in a straight line to still force a kick-out pass. I wouldn't say he excels by identifying every threat out there, but he's pretty aware of his responsibility most of the time. Here's a good example against Miami, where it might look like he's creeping over early to help on the drive, but Kyrie Irving just switched onto the bigger Bam Adebayo, so Claxton is looking to switch onto Bam, while Kyrie tells Kevin Durant to shift over to the corner. They're on the same page, and it's a turnover. Compare that to this play, where Claxton is focused on the screening action in the corner, and as the first player curls this screen, Claxton turns his attention to the second player without realizing his teammate was a step behind. I thought this sequence against Dallas really captured how he processes the game right now, where he floats out to the corner, leaving a smaller defender in the paint to deal with Luka Doncic. But in the exact same situation on the very next possession, Claxton immediately tells his teammate to go to the corner and steps up into the paint, and that actually stopped Luka until he pulled a rabbit out of his hat. All of the Nets switching leaves Claxton on perimeter players a lot, and he moves well enough laterally to guard most of them really well, using that length to bother shooters on his contests. Because of his length and quick vertical, he can sag off of shooters more, and a larger cushion means more time to recover on drives, and when he's set and loaded, he catches them off guard with his bounce. Even when he crowds guards on the outside, he's pretty quick in a straight line, and if he can load up, he can bother shots recovering from behind. The Nets actually started him on Jimmy Butler recently because he doesn't have to worry about him shooting that much, and he can guard him in isolation. One of the reasons for that also might have been to keep him off Bam, because Claxton is vulnerable to stronger players. Multiple teams have attacked him with bigger, sturdier centers who can just bully him down low. And while he can get stronger, this might just be the natural trade-off of a slender frame that keeps him mobile and springy. He's not completely overwhelmed down there, fighting and working for a steal here, although he can be a little too aggressive for my taste at times, jumping pretty hard into the passing lane on this, leading to a blow-by, and then he and Ben Simmons linger outside the paint, and it's an easy cleanup. But his aggression does help him make plays, and he'll get his hands on balls and disrupt actions here and there. And here against Giannis, he gives him a tiny opening by jabbing at the rock, then recovers well and loads up to block it anyway. As good as he already is, I think Nic's timing could improve as he learns that he doesn't have to spike every shot. He's switched on to Zach LaVine, stays with him perfectly, but jumps way too early on the ball fake, and that leads to free throws. Overall, Claxton's already super interesting to me in that he's a strong rim protector who's almost better guarding players on the outside than he is banging in the post. And the Nets switching scheme has really amplified his value because it sticks him on tons of wings and lets him hang around the basket enough to really impact the game. It reminds me a little of how Boston unlocked Rob Williams' pogo stick leaping last year by keeping him on the weak side, and with Ben Simmons bothering point guards with his length and switching onto just about anybody himself, it's freed up Claxton to do what he does best, and that suddenly has the Nets playing like a top 5 defense in the NBA over the last month.